I'm going to be going over my 3D resin printer setup and kind of my little workshop. And I'm going to go ahead and, before I get started, I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I use. Later in the video you'll be able to see these again. So I'm just kind of explaining right here what I use here. This is my strainer here. This is where I put my alcohol in and my parts, and you can pull the parts out in these baskets, and it leaves all the liquid down in the basket. So, you know, just a cleaner to put your alcohol in. So then we're going to the next one here. This is Lychee Slicer. This is the program I use to slice up my resin printer objects. This is a good product here, software, and I use Lychee Slicer to slice my prints. So we'll go to the next step, and I'm going to skip one over here. This is what I use with Lychee Slicer. You can do a word search on it. It's called the cones of calibration. This also is going to let you find out your exposure settings. So anytime that you change resin, you may want to use this exposure setting tool here. It's the best one on the market I've seen so far, and it's free. And it's like it's kind of like the guy said, when you print something out and you got some of these exposure testing people that are, you know, companies that have them or people making them up, is you look at it and you really don't know, you know, if it looks good or if it looks bad or what you're looking for. So you should know what what looks good and what don't look bad. This thing here pretty much tells you, hey, it's either good or it's bad. There's no, you don't need no second opinion on it. I really like that. All right. And I use these remotes here. It's the you can zoom in and get the name off this product if you go right here. I use these remotes here. I got these. It comes with the remote control to these little outlets right here, and I'm able to turn on and off my printers. Okay. Most of these printers have the power button to the back, and people don't like that because you have to reach behind there. And if it's crowded, basically what I do is leave my printers on the on button and just use the remotes to turn them on and off. And it comes with 4 of these. This is just a picture of it, and you can look at the name here and look them up. They're not expensive at all, trust me. Love the color also. So we're going to go to the next one here. This is a handle. I've got these handles, they're drawer handles, and I use this and on top of my lids, and I can lift these lids off with one hand with this handle, and a lot of times you just get that resin all over your hands or on your gloves or whatever. No matter how much you think you got it off, you know, when you grab the lid, you end up getting it on there. And some of these things are just, you know, a pain to get the resin off the lids. You don't even actually touch the lid when you have these handles. Keep note that when you start drilling into your lids, you're going to avoid the warranty on it. So I like to usually use these my printers for a while, just see how they work, then go ahead and put this on later. And on these lids, you'll probably see me, I put stickers on them and all kinds of stuff, so you'll be able to see that in the video coming up. And I like to use this right here. It's, you know, it gives the measurements here from the inside and outside for this caliper. Look at the name right here, okay? This is not one of them cheap plastic ones. This is metal, okay? This is an extremely good one. I don't like them plastic ones. You'll find them all over the place, and that's what you're going to pay for plastic, and they just don't, you know, they'll get your job done, but I just, you know, it seems like the battery's always running dead, and time you spend, you know, enough for a set of batteries, you can pretty much just chunk everything and buy a new one of these. But this one's a metal. It's more, you know, more accurate because, you know, the other ones are made of plastic, and I really like this one here. So we go to the next step. So we go to this Captain tape here. This Captain tape here is really thin. It's heat sensitive, and I use this to put over my screen protectors. Once I get my screen protectors down, helps it from leaking under the screen protectors. Okay. And here's a screen protector right here. Okay, as you can see here, these are one piece and they go way out. Most of the, they come out to the holes right here, and where my cursor's at. Let me see if I can zoom in. And they come way out here. I use the Captain tapes on the outside. Hey, if you don't have any Captain tape, you can any tape that not going to leave a residue and it's waterproof. I don't see why it would cause a problem. Just make sure it's on the lip of the screensaver and it's not underneath the bat. Just keep that in mind. I like these screensavers. You can get like 3 of them real cheap. Another thing about it is, don't get worried if you don't get it stuck down the right time. You can keep on pulling these things up and start all over. I got kind of nervous. I put one down. It didn't line up directly. My fault. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to pull it up and it's going to wreck everything. No, I did it 5 times and everything's perfect. And it's got a whole alignments where everything matches up and it's extra wider. Unlike most of these that come in and just do the small screen here. Alright, another thing is, we'll go to the next step here, is I level my, I use this Torpedo Level. I level my printers for the resin. I don't have to get very accurate, that's, debatable, but I have no problem. Just as long as you get in a ballpark figure, you don't want your resin really hanging to one side of the bat and not the other. Because especially if you got a large print, you want to make it pretty even so you'll have a full bat. And if we go over and to this one here, I was using these. They're extenders for the little micro cards here. I was using these on my old 2K printers. This is really not part of that video, but they do make these in case you ever have a 2K printer. What you do is you plug this into the printer right here where my cursor's at, and then you put the card over here. Okay, that way you're always putting the card into here, because if you put it directly in the printer, you probably could cause the port to be damaged, the USB port or whatever you call it. But if you put it in here and damage it, then you just replace the strap real cheap. So then we got these gloves here. What's good about these gloves here is I always get them extra oversized. I hate tight fitting gloves. They're hard to get off. You start sweating. And keep notice. Now most of you see people using, they're using a real thin glove. Okay, I've seen them stuff pop holes in them and tear, and the resin will actually start eating it. These are 8 mil. Okay, these are heavy duty, and they'll get the job done. Okay, I don't recommend to reuse them, but I have. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind. And what else we got here? And we got this spray that I use here. On the printers, they have, you'll see the rod in the middle. It's got like, threaded. Well, these go on the outside on my printers. It's on the guide rails, because you'll want to use 2 different types. I always put this on there before I, when I get my new printers. I want everything perfect before I even start off. Don't want to put this on later, because if you do, you got to clean every part off, because you don't want to put this over dirt. So keep that in mind. Always, once you get your printer, make sure it's done right the first time. You'll regret it if you have to start cleaning all that stuff off to get this on there. So I like that. And let's see what else I got here. We'll go here. Like I said, now this lube here, everybody seems to like it. It's called Super Lube here, and like I said, you can always read up here. You can see what it is or read it, and sometimes I'll leave the name of the manufacturer who made it in case you want to do an Amazon search and buy it. This is for that rod that goes up and down. It's got threads on it. Doesn't take a whole lot to do this. Okay, don't overdo it. Just kind of just you want it kind of just a little bit. Too much, the stuff would be just going all over the place, and it would just be a waste. And it's liable to drip all over the place. Just be careful, and actually just go find some tutorials on it, and you'll be all right. Now I got this extension right here. Okay, I use this one here is for my Mini 8K. Okay, this goes in. It has a USB port into the front of the Mini 8K, and it's pointing in one direction. Okay, since it's in the front, this one here will pull in. It will connect into the front, and I'll push the strap over to the side and put in my USB drive in here. That way, again, that this will save the port instead of keep on pushing in on the port. This strap will help so it doesn't damage the port, because once you plug this in, it will always stay plugged in, and you'll put your flash drive over here. So, and it's the same way. Okay, now I'm using a Frozen Mini 8K as an example of this. And I also have some for my Anycubic Photon M3. Basically, it almost looks like the strap, but you got to look at the angles on here. They have some that, this don't have an angle and it goes straight out. Well, with that is you're putting a little tension on it, on that port. So you want to make sure it goes 90 down. Okay, remember that. Now they got some, you'll think that's 90 down. Next thing you know, you made a mistake and bought the wrong one, because it'll be a 90 up. And you definitely don't want this cord to go up in the air and swing around to the front, because you will put some pressure on it. Push 90 down, that way the cord is facing to the bottom. And we have these blowers right here. They're made for like blowing off keyboards or dusting. They're basically compressed air that, some of these are cordless, and well, most of them are. You want to get a cordless one, and you'll see some that's got a lot of power to it. Trust me, when you're doing parts and stuff, you really don't want. Don't think the mores are better. So if you can find something and save you a few bucks, not having much, blow to it or vacuum to it, go ahead and get it. Because I use mine on low to medium all the time, very seldom high. So you'll save you some money. This is a must. I clean my parts off every now and then. If things get a little dirty, I just give it a quick old blow on there with this tool. And I'll tell you what, I use this thing quite a bit. Actually, I use it every single time. Okay, I'm going to go over my little setup here. I'm trying to walk in here and show you real slowly. Everything's hard to get in focus at once because I'm in a tight area here. So just kind of give you an idea of what it looks like before I even get started. Now we're going to move over here and we're going to start from left to right. And if I zoom down here, and you'll see I have this trash can. It's got a little foot pedal on it in case my hands are full, and I can use that right there. Alright, that's where I put all my scraps in and dispose of them later. I got this little container here. It's got strainers in there. Put my prints in there with some alcohol, and that's what I use it for, a cleaner. Also down here at the bottom, that's an ultrasonic cleaner. Okay, I don't use it a whole lot. This right here, this is a mixer. You can mix epoxy, you can mix all kinds of like micro powder into your resin, and it spins around and stirs it up. And if we go over here, we have this dryer right here. I use it for epoxy resin, or you can use it for your 3D resin printing parts. Okay, of course you'll see a bunch of wire specs through here, and all the lights you see here are real safe. They can be on all day and you can touch them. They're a little bit safe here. All my printers, I level it with a leveler here. You don't have to be 100% level. That's debatable, but mine are, I get them in a ballpark and I'm not worried about it. Of course, you can see I have a light back here, and you notice this big white thing right here. That's actually a air purifier, okay? And what that does is when I'm running these printers, we look way up here. I live in an RV, I got a skylight, and I turn this on and it blows all the fumes out to the top of the roof. And you can see I got my, right here, the Photon Sonic Mini 8K. Okay, range Picanoo. And we have the Anycubic. And I want to show you something. If you look way in the back here where that little green light is, you'll see all my other printers back here. I don't use them anymore, they're 2K. You'll see some plugins right down here, okay? And what them plugins are, they're plugged into a battery backup that's on the top of the green light. And what I do is I'll show you. I got this remote, and it's going to allow me to turn on any printers I want. Alright, let's see if I can get this stable here. So if I want to turn on number 1, which will be, watch the red light back there, and I'll turn it on. It comes on, and I press on number 2, and it comes on, and I press number 3, and it comes on. And as you notice, it's turning on all the printers too. Alright, let's see if we can shut off number 3. Shut off number 2. And shut off number... Let me get this in focus here. I'm going to shut that off. A lot of people's like, hey man, they got the plug-in way to the back and I can't reach it. Well, what to do? You get one of these, they're real cheap. What these are like a wireless, they're wireless and they're wireless remotes. And they're not expensive at all. And I don't have to reach back here. I just leave the printers on and it goes ahead and I can remotely do that. Also on these cables here, see the one on the front here? On this Mini 8K. I'm trying to get back here a little bit. There we go. It's got you can see how I used to plug the USB into here, but I put a adapter on it, okay? And I have it through the front here where I can pull it in and out. That way if I damage something, it's going to damage this end here and not the port itself. The same way goes for these printers here. I put an adapter on here, right here, and it goes back to the side. Now if you notice this one in the back, what you want to do is, this printer, I'm going to mimic it on this side. What you want to do is, you want to have it to go 90 down. See how that one's 90 to the, let me see if I can focus this in. See if that goes to the right? What you want to do on these Anycubics, you want to go 90 down. Don't get them confused with 90 up. Go 90 down and it relieves the pressure on the cord. And as you can see here, I got it, you know, where I can plug them in and out right here. Okay. And if they're to the back or to the side, I don't have to worry about it. Easy access. Okay, let's go to the next step here. Anycubic, okay, I put a handle on here. You're going to avoid warranty once you do this, so all my new stuff I like to let it use it for a while, see how it works. The reason why I put a handle on there, look how dirty that thing used to be, because I didn't have a handle on it. Look how clean these are. I do not want to get these dirty anymore, okay? All my printers, I set them up, okay? They all have screen protectors on them. They're one piece, and they go with these ain't your normal ones. They are one piece, and they come way out here. And then you put this Captain tape on there to seal it. And that's the first thing you want to do when you get a printer. You don't want, trust me, when you screw one of these up, you're going to wish you did. You can get them real cheap. I also grease the rods in them, the Z rods, and the rails. They all get done when I do them when I get the printers, okay? I learned from my lesson from not doing it the last time, okay? So that's just a little tip. Now, if we go over here, always get an extra vat. I always try to get an extra vat. It seems to be great. If you see right down here, see point right here, this is a seed mat. It's okay. It's for you know, keeping the seeds warm at a certain temperature. And this seed mat, through the whole mat, keeps an even temperature. You know what I do is I just lay it on top of my printer. I don't wrap it around there by the motor, down there by the or by the resin. I put it right on the top. It's going to get warm enough in there enough, and I don't want to put any more heat to that motor, okay? And it stays at a constant temperature. This is I use this all the time, every time, okay? I got these stainless steel containers I put my parts in, okay? I got me a thermal gun just in case I want to check. Don't use it a whole lot, just kind of testing it out, see everything's working, you know, see if it's maintaining its temperature. I'm not really nitpicking at my stuff. Basically, you know, gotta have your gloves. Don't forget your gloves. And I'm gonna tell you one thing I use the most, okay? Is that little air blower there, that little black thing. Man, I'm telling you what I usually do, if I see if I can, I'll pull this off the side of the wall to the right. I use this spray bottle with my alcohol, and I clean my parts and I blow them off with that thing. And that is a very must. And you'll notice that I got this little mat down here, everything's sitting on. That's so, you know, it's a non-stick mat. I got a magnifier. I got my paper towel holder. And all my resins, okay, even when I'm storing them, they go in an insulated thermal cooler. Okay, this ain't the best one here, but the better ones I got stored somewhere else. Okay, so here's the mat. Here's the mat I use. I also use a lot of these cardboards. These cardboards are a must-to-have. Okay, so I use that. So I think I went over everything, and I think a lot of key features here are these. The remote here. Alright, just keep in mind when you are dealing with resins to keep your hands clean, because that remote's going to get dirty and you don't want to clean it. And anything that you do, you see me have this spray bottle here with my alcohol in here. I'm going to tell you one thing, never ever do. When you're cleaning something, always put it on a rag. Do not, if you're cleaning inside a printer or something, spray it on the rag. If you don't, it's more than likely going to seep down in there and get on the screen. And you got to watch out. Cleaning some of these on different printers, cleaning outside these printers, you'll knock the finish right off them. So be very careful with that. I see that stuff do a lot of damage. And you go spraying around this display down here, good chances are in about 1 or 2 squirts you done screwed it up, and it's not going to be a fun day. And I mean, I got an amber light here. I keep things dark in this room. I have to, you know, because I normally do. And it's, you know, this is kind of my little setup, and I kind of enjoy it. And always keeping many boxes of gloves. So a recap here again, so I don't have to touch everything and I can just move the camera. Is we have the trash can, we have the basket here where it has holes in it where I can pull the parts out and the liquid stays in the bottom. On the top here I have my mixing cup. You can mix different colors in your resin, okay? It probably will affect the exposure timing on that. The sonic cleaner here, be careful, because on thin parts, if it gets too warm, it's going to warp it. That's another thing. Letting things sit in alcohol too long. If it's thin part, you think it's shrinking. No, it's because you left it in the alcohol too long. I've been down that road. That's 2 things that will damage a thin part, and you'll think, well, the resin's bad because it's shrinking. No, it's either you had it in the alcohol too long, or you're starting to throw heat to it, like in here. It's got a heater in here, or this might even do it. That's why I always use this here to get that alcohol off there quick as possible. And sometimes I'll do it like 3 or 4 times to clean it, and I'll set that thing out to dry quick as possible, okay? And a lot of my stuff I will lay flat on something, okay? If you don't lay it flat on something, when it dries, it could curl up a little bit. So I always leave my stuff flat on stuff. And then again, we go over here to my, haven't tried it yet, is in the Sonic Mini 8K And like I said, these lights are not hot. My big air filter, don't have to use them little ones that they come with in some of these printers. And I tell you what, that thing here, I don't smell nothing when I come in here. I really don't even, I don't know if I'm getting used to it, but man, this resin in here, I mean, I'm in a tight situation here. And it does not bother me a bit. And we're just going to go around here and you can see my stuff on my handles. And another thing about this rubbing alcohol in the spray bottle, don't ever spray it directly on your skin. Always use that stuff and spray it on the rag. All you got to remember, don't ever spray nothing directly with alcohol, okay? If you're going to clean your hands, don't spray the sprayer on your hands. I don't know what it has. It's very intense when you do it like that. If you rub it on and get it off quick, you got nothing to worry about. And a lot of times, and some of these gloves don't fit, you know what I do? Or I have them inside out and I decide that I want to use it again, that I didn't use it very much. I'll take that little, you know, when you take them off, they're kind of hard to get off, so I get them extra larger side gloves on here. I'll just take that, you know, when I pull them off, they'll be half stuck. I'll just take that blower and stick in there and they'll puff right back out. That's pretty cool. And the magnifying glass, don't use a whole lot. I've used it on some stuff I was just double checking, but, and of course I got my little flashlight there and I got some other junk. Anyway, I think it's going to wrap this part up.